Are you sure you really know which foods are good for your brain? Imagine this. One everyday fruit you've been eating your whole life might not just be unhealthy, but could actually trigger a stroke. Yes, even foods that seem completely safe can slowly damage your brain and take years off your active life. It sounds simple, right? Just eat the right foods. But what if those so-called healthy foods aren't as harmless as you think? Hi, I'm Dr. Ethan Hale. In this video, I'll reveal 13 foods that are quietly sabotaging your health. More importantly, I'll explain what changes you can make to keep your mind sharp, boost your memory, and protect your brain from aging. Stick around until the end, and you'll get practical solutions to help you avoid serious health problems. You'll learn which foods to cut from your diet and what to eat instead. If keeping your brain healthy matters to you, give this video a like, and let's get started. First, let's talk about foods that quietly disrupt blood circulation. Your brain needs a steady supply of oxygen, but when your blood vessels narrow, its function slows down. This can lead to memory problems, trouble focusing, and even a stroke. And the first food that poses a serious threat? Bacon. Bacon has become a breakfast classic, but most people don't realize how much damage it does to their blood vessels. Beneath that crispy, flavorful surface hides a dangerous mix of saturated fats, salt, and preservatives, a perfect recipe for high blood pressure, damaged arteries, and poor circulation. The biggest problem? Saturated fats. They contribute to cholesterol buildup, forming plaques in your arteries that slow blood flow and deprive your brain of oxygen. Stick to bacon-heavy breakfasts for a few years, and you might start noticing memory issues and constant fatigue. But even more concerning is the salt. Just a couple of strips of bacon pack a hefty dose of sodium, which can send your blood pressure skyrocketing. Over time, your arteries lose elasticity, making them more prone to damage. High blood pressure is one of the leading causes of strokes, and bacon plays a role in that risk. And let's not forget the chemical preservatives. Bacon contains nitrites and nitrates, which, when heated, turn into carcinogens. These compounds trigger oxidative stress, speed up brain cell aging, and increase the risk of degenerative diseases. Most people have no idea that their seemingly harmless breakfast could be quietly pushing them toward dementia and stroke. But if you think bacon is the worst offender, just wait. Up next, I'll reveal a food you probably eat with confidence, believing it's good for you, when in reality, it's doing serious damage to your brain. Love hard, flavorful cheeses? Many people see them as a great source of calcium and healthy fats, but in reality, they can pose a hidden threat to your blood vessels. This is especially true for yellow cheeses like Cheddar, Parmesan, Provolone, and other high-fat, high-sodium varieties. The main issue? Saturated fats. They contribute to cholesterol buildup in your bloodstream, which gradually leads to the formation of atherosclerotic plaques. These plaques make your arteries less flexible, narrow the space for blood flow, and disrupt circulation. As a result, your brain gets less oxygen, which can lead to cognitive decline, memory issues, and an increased risk of stroke. But an even bigger concern is the excessive amount of salt. Hard cheeses contain several times more sodium than most other foods. Too much sodium causes fluid retention, raises blood pressure, and puts extra strain on your blood vessels. Over time, artery walls become thinner and less elastic, creating the perfect conditions for stroke and other vascular diseases. Some people try to reduce the risk by eating less cheese, but even small, regular servings can have a cumulative effect. The real danger comes when yellow cheeses are paired with other harmful foods, like bacon, processed meats, or white bread. That rich, cheesy flavor so many people love could be silently aging your arteries and depriving your brain of the oxygen it needs. But that's not all. Up next, we'll talk about foods with such extreme salt levels. They're practically ticking time bombs. Let's break down the hidden dangers. Salt isn't just a seasoning that enhances flavor. It can become a serious threat to your brain when consumed in excess. This is especially true for processed meats like sausages, hot dogs, ham, and canned meats. These foods are not only packed with unhealthy fats and chemical additives, but they also contain dangerously high levels of sodium, which damages blood vessels and impairs circulation. When your body gets too much salt, your arteries take a hit. Sodium causes water retention, which leads to higher blood pressure. Over time, artery walls thicken, lose elasticity, and become more vulnerable to damage, raising the risk of stroke and poor brain circulation. But the dangers don't stop there. Regularly eating processed meats doesn't just harm your arteries, it affects your brain itself. Studies show that excessive salt intake can shrink brain volume, particularly in areas responsible for memory and thinking. That means your love for deli meats and salty foods could speed up age-related cognitive decline, increasing the risk of dementia. And then there are the preservatives. Nitrates and nitrites, commonly used to enhance color and flavor in processed meats, fuel inflammation throughout the body. This contributes to even more brain cell damage and accelerates the aging process. Many people underestimate the impact of salt, but too much of it is literally destroying your health from the inside out. If processed meats are a regular part of your diet, it might be time to rethink your food choices to avoid serious consequences. But if salt is bad for your blood vessels, inflammation is an even more silent threat. It slowly damages neurons, weakening your memory and focus. Up next, we'll dive into the foods that trigger chronic inflammation in your body. One of the most dangerous foods that trigger inflammation? French fries. Crispy, golden, and irresistibly delicious. French fries seem like a harmless treat. Most people enjoy them without giving much thought to the consequences. But this fast food favorite is a powerful inflammation trigger, and here's why. Deep frying at high temperatures turns potatoes into a major source of trans fats. These harmful compounds disrupt cellular functions, promote cholesterol buildup, and spark inflammatory reactions in your blood vessels. As a result, your blood thickens, circulation slows down, and your brain gets less oxygen. On top of that, frying potatoes creates acrylamides, chemical compounds that are toxic to neurons. These substances damage nerve connections, impair cognitive function, and may speed up the progression of age-related brain diseases, including Alzheimer's. And of course, there's the salt. French fries are often loaded with sodium, which leads to fluid retention, raises blood pressure, and puts even more strain on your arteries. This dangerous mix, trans fats, harmful chemicals, and excessive salt, makes French fries one of the worst foods for your brain. But fried foods aren't the only problem. Up next, we'll talk about a meal many people see as a quick and satisfying lunch, but it's packed with even more hidden dangers. Let's break down why fast food pizza is worse than you think. These unhealthy fats come from hydrogenated oils, which extend the shelf life of ingredients. But inside your body, they do something far worse. They disrupt metabolism, inflame blood vessels, and impair circulation. Then there's the salt. Fast food pizza is practically soaked in sodium. The dough, the sauce, the cheese, the processed meats, every component is packed with it. Over time, this reduces oxygen flow to your brain, affecting memory and focus. And let's not forget the hidden additives. Commercially made pizza contains flavor enhancers, stabilizers, and artificial ingredients. These compounds don't just mess with your metabolism, they can also interfere with neurotransmitter production, slowing down brain function. Now let's take a step back and look at fast food in general. It's packed with even more hidden sugars, unhealthy fats, and additives that are quietly damaging your brain. Fast food has become a part of daily life for millions of people. It's quick, convenient, and filling, but beneath that simplicity lies a serious threat to brain health. Eating these foods regularly can lead to chronic inflammation, cognitive decline, and even an increased risk of dementia. The biggest issue? Trans fats. These artificial fats are found in many fast food staples, fried meats, fries, pastries, and sauces. They disrupt metabolism, inflame blood vessels, and reduce blood flow to the brain. Over time, this can lead to memory problems and slower thinking. But it's not just the fats that make fast food so dangerous. Most of these meals are packed with hidden sugars. Even in foods where you wouldn't expect it, like burgers, sauces, and breading, sugar is added to enhance flavor. This leads to blood sugar spikes, insulin resistance, and increased inflammation, all of which negatively impact brain function. Then there's the salt. Fast food is loaded with sodium, which, over time, makes arteries less flexible, reduces blood flow to the brain, and raises the risk of stroke. Many people don't think about the dangers of fast food until they start experiencing health problems. But its effects are sneaky. They build up over the years. The more often someone eats fast food, the higher their risk of cognitive decline, fatigue, and even depression. But if fats and salt can damage blood vessels, excess sugar is just as destructive. Up next, we're diving into high-sugar foods, the ultimate glucose storm for your brain. Sugar is fuel for the brain, but in excess, it turns into pure poison. Too many sugary foods cause sharp blood sugar spikes, overload the pancreas, and trigger inflammation in blood vessels. The biggest danger comes from hidden sugars, especially in products that don't seem harmful at first glance. And one of the worst offenders? Soda. Sugary soft drinks are one of the biggest threats to brain health. They might seem harmless, but every can is packed with an enormous amount of sugar, overloading your system instantly. Drinking soda regularly leads to chronically high blood sugar levels, a direct pathway to blood vessel damage and cognitive decline. When your body is flooded with sugar, your pancreas has to pump out insulin at full speed. Over time, your cells become resistant to this hormone, leading to insulin resistance. This condition is closely linked to memory problems, reduced focus, and an increased risk of dementia as you age. But that's not all. High blood sugar levels contribute to oxidative stress, a process that damages brain cells. As a result, neurons break down faster and their ability to regenerate weakens. This leads to fatigue, slower reaction times, and impaired cognitive function. And of course, sugar wreaks havoc on your blood vessels. Constant glucose spikes cause inflammation in artery walls, making them fragile and prone to damage. This significantly raises the risk of stroke and cardiovascular disease. Sugary sodas might give you an instant energy boost, but that rush is followed by a sharp crash, leaving you tired and irritable. Regular consumption can make your brain less efficient and accelerate cognitive aging. But it's not just sugar in drinks that's a problem. Refined carbs also damage neurons, and the next food on our list is even more dangerous than it seems. Soft, fluffy, and delicious. White bread seems like a simple, harmless staple. Sweet pastries, cookies, store-bought baked goods, many people see them as a small indulgence that couldn't possibly be harmful. But behind their pleasant taste hides a serious threat to brain function. White bread and commercial sweets are loaded with refined carbohydrates. These break down quickly in the body, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar. This triggers a surge of insulin, and over time, frequent spikes lead to insulin resistance, a condition that disrupts brain function, reduces focus, and impairs learning ability. But the biggest concern? Chronic inflammation. When blood sugar levels repeatedly rise and crash, the body perceives this as stress and activates defense mechanisms. These constant glucose fluctuations create the perfect environment for inflammatory processes that damage neurons and disrupt signal transmission between brain cells. The result? Memory problems, mental fatigue, and even mood disorders like depression. And then there are the artificial additives found in store-bought baked goods. Preservatives, artificial flavors, and synthetic sweeteners can interfere with the brain's chemical balance, negatively affecting neurotransmitters. These ingredients cause energy spikes followed by sudden crashes, leading to long-term cognitive decline. Regularly eating white bread and sugary pastries accelerates brain aging. If these foods dominate your diet, you may start noticing issues like poor concentration, brain fog, and memory loss over time. And finally, there's one more category of sweets that seems harmless, but is actually toxic to your brain. Let's take a closer look at why they're so dangerous. Fluffy, fragrant, and coated in glaze, donuts and cakes seem like the perfect treat. The biggest danger? An overwhelming amount of sugar. Every bite of these desserts delivers a massive glucose surge, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar levels. Your body responds by releasing insulin, but soon after, blood sugar crashes, leaving you feeling tired, irritable, and unfocused. When these spikes and crashes happen frequently, they lead to insulin resistance, which slows down brain function and increases the risk of cognitive disorders. But an even bigger hidden threat is trans fats, which are packed into store-bought cakes and donuts. These fats extend the shelf life of baked goods, but inside your body, they trigger dangerous inflammatory processes. Trans fats damage cell membranes, disrupt brain metabolism, and restrict blood flow. Studies have linked regular consumption to accelerated brain aging and a higher risk of dementia. Then there are the artificial additives. Processed cakes and donuts contain stabilizers, food dyes, and flavor enhancers that can interfere with neurotransmitter production, the chemical messengers that help nerve cells communicate. This can lead to poor concentration, memory problems, and even mood swings. Eating these foods regularly damages your brain from the inside out. Not only do they impair cognitive function, but they can also contribute to chronic fatigue, depression, and overall poor mental well-being. Now, let's move on to foods that most people consider healthy. But in reality, their impact on the brain is even more subtle, yet just as destructive. Not all harmful foods look obviously dangerous. Some disguise themselves as healthy snacks, convenient and seemingly harmless. But their impact on the brain can be even more insidious than fast food or sweets. These so-called healthy options quietly reduce blood circulation, trigger inflammation, and accelerate neuron aging. One of the biggest hidden threats? Packaged snacks. Many people reach for packaged snacks thinking they're a smart choice for a quick bite. Crackers, protein bars, pre-mixed nut blends, they often look healthy on the label. But a closer look at the ingredients reveals a long list of additives that can harm your brain. The first issue? Excess salt. Manufacturers add large amounts of sodium to enhance flavor and extend shelf life. Over time, this disrupts proper blood flow to the brain, reducing concentration and increasing the risk of cognitive decline. The second major problem? Unhealthy fats. Many packaged snacks contain hydrogenated oils loaded with trans fats. These fats fuel inflammation in blood vessels, interfere with neuron signaling, and contribute to cholesterol buildup. Studies have linked regular consumption of trans fats to a higher risk of dementia and memory loss. And even if a product is labeled as healthy or natural, that doesn't mean it's free from hidden dangers. Many of these snacks contain artificial additives, stabilizers, flavor enhancers, and preservatives. These chemicals can cause oxidative stress in brain cells, leading to cognitive decline and lower energy levels. Regularly eating packaged snacks might seem like a harmless habit, but in reality, it overloads your body with harmful compounds that impact brain health. The damage isn't always immediate, but over time, it can lead to memory problems, poor concentration, and even mood swings. The next food might surprise you. You've probably considered it a safe option, maybe even a healthy alternative to sweets, but it hides serious risks for your brain. Peanut butter has long been associated with healthy eating. It's marketed as a great source of protein, healthy fats, and energy. But if you take a closer look at the ingredient list on most jars sitting on store shelves, you'll see that this product isn't as harmless as it seems. One of the biggest issues? Added sugar. Many brands enhance the flavor of peanut butter with syrups, sucrose, or even high fructose corn syrup. This turns what should be a simple spread into a sugar bomb, causing sharp blood sugar spikes. Over time, this overloads the pancreas, contributes to insulin resistance, and increases the risk of inflammatory damage to brain blood vessels. The second hidden danger? Hydrogenated fats. To keep peanut butter smooth and prevent separation, manufacturers often add partially hydrogenated oils. These artificial fats contain trans fats, which are directly linked to inflammation, poor circulation, and the breakdown of neuron cell membranes. Studies show that people who regularly consume trans fats have a higher risk of cognitive decline and even depression. On top of that, commercial peanut butter often contains stabilizers, artificial flavors, and preservatives. These additives can disrupt neurotransmitter balance, the chemical messengers that allow brain cells to communicate. The result? Memory problems, slower reaction times, and chronic fatigue. Peanut butter is only truly healthy when its ingredient list contains just one thing: ground peanuts. But many brands pack in extra ingredients, turning it into a hidden source of sugar, unhealthy fats, and artificial chemicals. Now, let's talk about a food that many people rely on as their primary source of protein, but it may actually be harming your brain. Few realize that eating this food too often could accelerate brain cell aging. Red meat has long been considered an excellent source of protein and iron, both essential for overall health. Many people believe that eating steaks, lamb, or pork chops helps build muscle and provides lasting energy. But behind these benefits lies a serious risk to brain function. The biggest concern? Excess saturated fats. Fatty red meat is loaded with them, and eating it regularly leads to cholesterol buildup in your blood vessels. Over time, this forms plaques that restrict blood flow, reducing the oxygen supply to your brain. When your brain doesn't get enough oxygen, memory declines, focus weakens, and the risk of stroke increases. But that's not all. During digestion, red meat produces compounds that promote inflammation and oxidative stress. This accelerates brain cell aging, making neurons more vulnerable to damage. Studies show that people who consume large amounts of fatty meat are more likely to experience cognitive decline as they age. Another hidden danger? The way red meat is cooked. Grilling, roasting, and frying at high temperatures create advanced glycation end products, AGEs, harmful compounds that damage brain cells and interfere with nerve signaling. The result? Slower thinking, mental fatigue, and increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. Many believe that red meat is essential for strength and health, but too much of it can have the opposite effect, accelerating brain aging. The risks are even greater when fatty meat is combined with other harmful foods, like processed snacks, salty cheeses, and refined carbohydrates. And finally, the most unexpected enemy, a fruit you thought was healthy. Many people eat it as a light snack, never realizing that it could be harming their brain. Raisins seem like a healthy snack. Natural, additive-free, packed with fiber and minerals. Many people use them as a quick energy boost or a sugar substitute in baking. But behind this natural sweetness lies a serious risk to brain health. The biggest issue? An extremely high concentration of sugar. The drying process removes water, but significantly increases the sugar density in every bite. As a result, even a small handful of raisins contains an overwhelming amount of natural sugars, which cause an immediate spike in blood glucose levels. These sugar spikes overload the pancreas, forcing it to produce large amounts of insulin. Over time, this can lead to insulin resistance, a condition where cells lose their ability to efficiently process glucose. For the brain, this means an energy deficit, memory impairment, and an increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. But that's not all. The high sugar content in raisins fuels inflammation, which damages blood vessels. This restricts blood flow, reducing the oxygen supply to brain cells. Chronic inflammation can contribute to cognitive decline, slower reaction times, and poor concentration. Another hidden danger? Chemical treatments. Raisins are often coated with preservatives to maintain their color and shelf life. One common additive is sulfur dioxide, a preservative that can trigger allergic reactions and contribute to oxidative stress in brain cells. Many people view raisins as a healthy alternative to candy, but in reality, their impact on the brain is nearly identical to refined sugar. They create the illusion of being nutritious, but in the long run, they accelerate brain aging and increase the risk of dementia. Today, you learned how 13 common foods can secretly harm your brain. Many of them seem harmless, but in reality, they impair circulation, trigger inflammation, and speed up neuron aging. But here's the good news. Small changes in your diet can help keep your mind sharp and active for years to come. By cutting out harmful foods and choosing healthier alternatives, you can boost memory, improve focus, and reduce your risk of stroke. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about protecting your health, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll get even more valuable health tips, and it also motivates me to create more content for you. Now, don't miss the next video, which is already on your screen. There, you'll find even more useful insights to help you stay healthy. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.